What's going on, guys? Sean Phoenix here, Phoenix Smasher 5, PSN, DN Gamertag, and other various media coming at you with a podcast.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Somebody's professional.
Right?
I have to do this.
All right, let me go put
All
my
right.
pants on real quick. I didn't realize we're getting big boy in here.
We got Phoenix Smasher 5 Games podcasts. I'm your host for the night, Sean Phoenix. I'm not going to go do the whole thing again.
Sean
And
Phoenix Smasher 5 here.
Joined along with me is Finrot Games and Alex.
Yeah,
Alex.
sorry, I don't have a real YouTube name.
Yeah. So
I do have a YouTube channel. It's Alex Teagle. You'll either get me or some black football player. So good luck with that.
Today we're going to be discussing Opus II, which has recently been confirmed that it will be delayed until April 7th.
Thanks, Trump.
It's not a Trump issue. This dude,
That we know of.
it's,
Imports, Trump.
from what we heard, it's been stuck in U.S. Customs. So
Is that the...
that's the actual
What the
reason,
fuck?
going around the table anyways, is it's stuck in U.S. Customs.
Oh
So.
my God.
So that 2-week delay is kind of almost an arbitrary thing because it's really out of their hands. You know, it's not it's not up to them. It's not up to GTS or
So it could be way longer
Swear.
than 2 weeks.
it could be longer than 2 weeks. It
Could be
depends
shorter.
Yeah, I mean it could be like a week delay. But
How is that new fire?
what was that?
And I'm the unprofessional, no YouTube channel guy. He's over there watching YouTube videos.
No, I'm trying to find something for us.
Finn's fucking around on something.
Always.
But, no, we're gonna dissect the Opus II set card by card. Talk about what everything does, how the interactions could play a part in deck building and whatever strategies you want to go down. I figured it'd be interesting to give like a 1 through 10 or 1 through 5 rating on each card too, like why you believe this card has potential or should be disregarded, just to have some form of discussion for every card to get people thinking, I guess. And everyone has the set list on their phones,
And we'll probably post the set list in the description, right?
like a link to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Google Docs thing. It's, free to access, whatever.
Right. And this may or may not be equipped with visual aid. Depends on how I feel when we upload it. But you could have this pretty much just play in the background or while you're driving or when you're at the gym,
Listen to
whatever.
Sensual
If
voices.
you're listening to us while you're at the gym, God bless you.
I listen to podcasts at the gym sometimes.
Is
most-
it of yourself? Do you listen to yourself?
Yeah, I record actually
This is
hours
the
of
Phoenix Smasher 5 Get Pumped podcast.
hours of content.
You can do it, Sean. If your name's not Sean, disregard this statement.
So anyways, I'm disregarding what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna start here. First, we're gonna literally just go down the line. So first card we have is Irving from Final Fantasy VIII. He's a fire, 3-drop, backup. When Irving enters the field, choose one forward, deal 6k damage. There's no EX burst.
Boo.
I was gonna ask how do you feel about this card? It's being released as a heroic.
That seems weird.
I think
That
it's
makes no sense.
I think it's very weird. I don't know what the game creators have in mind for.
I think it has to be a typo, right? This list isn't 100% correct.
No, it is not 100%. We've
What do you mean
that.
not like a typo, like an 8? Like it's not gonna
Like,
be a
whoever
heroic?
made this Google Docs fucked up and meant to put a C.
They update it as much as possible.
Maybe
with
they just assumed.
every
Maybe
sort of-
this Google
No,
Docs in there.
it's confirmed. As far as I'm concerned, I looked through the list. Everything seems accurate and up to date. Because
All right.
as I see things, I kind of like cross-reference it with this list to make
Mhm.
sure that. Anyways, what do you guys feel about this card? What do you?
I like what it does for 6K,
It's
but
certainly neat.
for some reason, odd numbers always bug the hell out of me with this game.
I mean, that's kind of the thing, yeah.
I think the 3-drop is strange for just the 6k burn. It's totally understandable, but I don't understand I guess it needs to be comboed with something, or
Mhm.
I don't justify it being a heroic. I don't see it being played in a lot of things.
Maybe if it had EX Burst, I could see the heroic.
If it had EX burst, I would totally consider actually
I don't know why it's not like 7K.
yeah. I feel like well they did something like that. We'll go down and run into it later on where there's a backup that's a 5K and wins that does exactly what Alexander does. It's one cost higher.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if that were the case, you could do like a 4-drop that on place deal something 7K to kind of follow that same trend.
I could even agree with it being a 2 cost.
Yeah,
Dealing
definitely.
6K. Because then you're just like Vaughn.
Yeah. Oh, you could recur it with the legendary Vaughn just multiple times.
Where it stands right now, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. If we got to give these like 1 out of 10 or like out of 10 ratings,
1 out of 5 or
1 out of 5, I'm saying like light 2 to maybe 3 out of 5.
I'd say that's probably.
I can only give it a 2 because in Element, there's literally nothing that works with it.
I just don't see the utility in it where you could just do other things that are just better. So I would also probably put
I'd
it as
rather
like
play a burn summon.
Yeah, I'd probably put it as a 2 also. Just
I'm giving it the almost 3 just because it says sniper. Maybe something comes in later, Opus 3.
just complete.
Sniper
Maybe, dude. Maybe there's some kind of bonus to snipers. Who knows?
It's a backup.
As I say, the games don't really.
It's not even a forward.
Listen.
Snipers aren't like a huge thing
No,
in the series.
no, I know. It's gonna be. Yeah, it's not very good.
Moving on, we spent 2 minutes like talking about one card.
Ifrit.
We'll go down the line a little bit faster. Ifrit is a 2-drop fire summon, EX burst. What?
Choose a forward, deal 6K.
Yeah, choose a forward, deal 6K. It's a 2-drop
EX
summon
burst
with EX burst though.
Hey, look, it's Irving better.
It's a common, so I mean it's probably in the correct place in terms of rarity.
4.
But
and it's just better. The only thing is, it's not a backup.
But 6K damage is what you have to consider. 6K damage is not often a frequent number that you see in a lot of forwards right now. You see it most commonly in Squall or in the 3-drop Terra, right? Is a 6K.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then just generic small dudes. So I don't...
It's 6K is okay right now because the card we'll talk about later. The backup.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Combo potential, it's there. But as a standalone card, if you're just drawing it as a 2-drop, how does it... I think it's a 3 or 4 because I think if you do it correctly and if you do it correctly with various cards, it'll be really good, and it's a low enough cost that you can get a lot of value out of it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's done correctly, so I'd give it 3, 4.
I give it a 4 outright because 1, it's EX, 2, it's 6K, which again combo potential down the line, and it only costs a pitch to deal 6K.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to imagine, too, it's better than the 1-drop of Freak now that does 4K.
It's better than Irving, which was literally the card we just talked
Yeah,
about.
for sure.
Next on the list is Ward, a 3-drop forward. It's a warrior job class, which marginally doesn't matter. It's a 5K power. When Ward attacks, it gains 3K, so it's an 8K attacker.
Meh.
It's considered a common also.
Meh.
I'm meh on it. I don't...
2, 3.
Yeah.
I mean, 8K is a good number to hit, but...
If it were a 2-drop...
Not if it's just sitting there, though.
If it were a 2-drop, I would totally consider running it. Because it's a 5K body, which means it'll be able to block the pesky Zidans or any Yuffie.
Oh god, it'd be so good in Golbez. Holy
Deal
shit.
with Gordon in some juncture anyways.
Golbez.
Jesus.
Yeah, it would be amazing.
It might be too good at a 2-drop, just because Golbez exists.
Maybe if it was a 2-drop, it got pumped by 2 instead of 3.
And became a 7. We already have that.
7K
That exists in,
attacker.
I think, Earth, right? What? No.
No, it's a 7K blocker for Toledo.
I'd be okay
No,
with...
I'm saying, like, in this set, there's a...
Oh,
like
maybe.
a 5K that becomes
I'd be
a 7K
okay with him
for
being
2.
a 4 plus 4. Make him a 9K.
4 plus 4?
Yeah, base 4K power, and then
Yeah.
gains 4 on attack.
Well, that'd be
Or, you mean...
8.
No.
That'd be 8.
Base 5.
And it
gains
gains
4 on
4.
attack. Makes it a 9.
As a
so
3-drop
it can go
still?
in.
And
Yeah.
then it's
Yeah,
3.
I would justify that.
Right.
If it... So, I don't know. Still 2 out of 5, maybe.
Yeah.
Now we're coming up on one of the things I love talking about.
Ephemeral Phantom?
No, mannequins.
Just mannequins in general.
Yes.
Okay. Ephemeral Phantom is a 2-drop. forward mannequin class, 5k power, and that class is actually relevant.
This is exactly the card I was talking about. It becomes a 7k.
Yeah. Well, when your opponent controls 2 or more forwards,
difference
it
is
gains 2k power.
this is a constant, not.
Yeah, it's not until
on
end of
tap.
turn. It just sits there as 7. It's a 2 cost, which is pretty good for, you know.
I mean, it's an okay eject. A smaller eject by all means.
But it has alternate support.
Yeah.
With the mannequin name.
Paired up with the rest of the mannequin archetype, yes, I definitely like it. But as if you can't,
If it wasn't a mannequin,
it
it'd
wasn't a
be,
mannequin, the value of it just drops significantly.
very low 3.
Hey, it's a Golbez card.
Exactly.
It's a Golbez.
It's a Golbez eject. How about that?
It's a Golbezable eject.
Golbezable. New verbs everywhere.
I actually give that a solid 3 then, because it's not. I mean, it's not as. I like Ifrit better. That's like right on the top right now of my out of 5 listings, because everything else gets a hard 2.
Yeah.
The Ephemeral Phantom, I think, is a solid 3. It's not great, but it's not terrible either.
Do you think it'll see play in Golbez?
I think it'll see play in mannequins more than Golbez. I think
About mannequin Golbez.
if you ran a mannequin Golbez deck, it's a must run.
Yeah.
I think in Golbez it has potential too. It's just, why would you run that though if you could run Warrior of Light 2-drop?
That's true. Yeah.
Do you know what you call the Golbez mannequin deck?
What do you call that?
Night of the Living Dummy.
Moving on, we have
Sage.
Sage, the
2-drop.
2-drop backup. I love this card. When it enters the field, choose a forward against haste till the end of the turn.
That's just good.
That's for, again, a single pitch.
I think I won't talk about the rarities anymore unless it's like a
Yeah, the
significant
rarities
note.
don't really matter all that much.
Same with like jobs. Sage, I think, is incredible. I think it's really good to just give anything haste.
It's not element specific. It's not.
I've been thinking about running whether I want to run 2 or 3 because I'm going to be doing Fire Water when Opus 2 comes out. I was thinking 2.
Yeah.
I was thinking 2 because I feel like if you get 3, then you're biting into other backups that could offer alternative utility. Not saying better utility, but alternative utility.
Fire Wind is where it will shine.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Because Vaughn just goes, oh, make friend haste?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. And then you bring the Sage back, and the next turn you have something else with free haste, which is good.
Must run.
Yeah. That's a 4.5 or 5 in terms of like fire, anyways. In my opinion, out of 5.
I'll give it a 4 because Vaughn exists.
I can't say it's a 5 out of 5 backup. I think Red Mage from the Fire Red Mage from set 1 is a 5 out of 5 backup.
That's how I feel about Jill.
The type of backbreaking utility you can provide. I don't think Sage is that necessarily, but
Jill's my 5-star backup.
Yeah, I think every element has their 5 out of 5 backup. I think in this set there'll be that kind of obvious poking also, where this is blatantly a 5 out of 5 type of card.
Okay, a card me and you have debated on many times right here.
Yeah, moving on, we have Saz, which is a 2-drop fire forward, 3k power. When Saz attacks, choose a forward opponent controls, deal it 1k for each point damage you have received. So you can deal it all of 0 damage, or you can deal it all of 6k damage.
Which this is where the Suicide deck first sparked.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I mean, conceptually speaking, you can burn something for 6 if you're in the late game and you attack with this thing all the time. And it can theoretically trade up with 9Ks.
It can block it, or it can kill Euphies.
Yeah, I mean, it can kill small stuff in the mid to late game.
It's annoying, because it's like having first strike.
Here's why I see it having utility. Yes and no. I see it having utility if you can resolve the burn multiple times and go unpunished. Because then you're just getting free burn spells effectively. You're getting free 2-drop of freets if you're that late in game and you're attacking like twice with them.
You're at such a risk though. Like any small thing.
Let's talk about. Let's go to Fire Earth. Give him Brave.
I mean, yeah.
Late game because the new Gabranth.
I just think you're cutting it really close, and if he's what you got when you're at 6 damage,
that's all you got. Yeah,
he's on. As much as I don't agree, I do think he's a decent, not great top deck at late game.
Okay, yeah, especially if you can like give him haste and just get him out there. It
Sage,
can definitely
right
bring
there.
you. It can bring you back from the brink.
I think the issue with this is he needs another forward to accompany him. Though.
Definitely.
Because if you're in the late game and you top deck a Saz, and you have the haste capability, so what? You have a 3k power, you have a burn for 6,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
can trade up with a
It's
9k, or kill a small dude and then just die.
Yeah.
Like,
he in a vacuum, like he definitely has potential with other things, but I think in a vacuum, he's kind of underwhelming.
yeah. So I can't justify running him. If I had to run him in some form of combo-y late game deck, then I would run it as a 2 of.
Say
I think he has
13.
a very specific purpose.
Yeah, definitely.
Fire Lightning, he could see play. Definitely.
Yeah, I could see in a Fire Lightning where there's a lot of burn, a lot of accumulative damage, and cumulative, not accumulative, cumulative damage. But even still, like stuff like that, if your opponent drops Minu, then whatever.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing about Fire. Still, Minu just shuts down.
Anything
Minu
burns.
is so oppressive.
I mean, I think that's
still give Saz a 4.
I think that's why Fire has its other utilities though, like block disabling or rushing in with haste stuff or whatever. But yeah, I give the Saz a 2.5 because I don't see the utility in it.
I give it a 4 outright.
I'll give it a light 3. Very
Light
light.
3.
Because I think it does have a lot of potential, but like just in a vacuum looking at it, it's underwhelming.
Right. Moving on, we have the first legendary of the set and one of the better 5-drops in this game. Emperor Zand, I believe, or Zand. 5-drop fire. Forward, 9k power. The only sour part is we can only pay fire crystal points to play Emperor Zand onto the field. So if you're not doing mono, you have to be careful with how you pay.
Mm-hmm.
When Emperor Zand attacks, choose a forward and deal it 5k. When Zand is put from the field to the break zone, choose a forward and deal it 9k. I think it's an excellent mid-range card. It's an excellent control card. It's an excellent aggro card. It does a lot. Like
Definitely.
It makes your opponent terrified to trade up with it or to try to kill spell it because they know that something's going to be burned for 9.
Yeah, it's just like a it's almost like a better Emperor from Opus 1. Almost.
Where like something when it hits the grave, something bad will happen.
It's punishing your opponent for punishing it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
I think this one could be a lot more backbreaking.
Yuna.
You'd have to carefully play around it in order to, because I could see bouncing Zand back to the hands is crippling for that player. Because then they have to pay specifically fire again if they want to bring it back out.
Yeah, and that's definitely why they put that in. I could see them like making this guy and then realizing after the fact, like, ooh, this could be a huge problem.
I say if they realize they're playing against water, where a lot of bouncing occurs, just to forego the Zand altogether and just go a different route.
Maybe like one time,
but
and
like
then after that,
if you know your matchup, if you know you're playing against like Winds, for example, where there's a lot of smaller dudes. Or if you're playing against Golbez, where they're gonna bring out smaller dudes, and Zand just swings in and does 5k to things consistently, then I mean, okay. But
the way I look at it, it's like a Dark and Light card, in my opinion.
Yeah.
One, you have to have fire, but when you top deck that guy and you don't have it, it looks like a Sephiroth to you.
Yeah, it just does nothing. It does nothing in the hands. I will say. I don't like running 1-ofs in this game ever, just for the fear of damaging it out, and then it's just gone forever. Unless it has an EX. Like earlier, I was testing out. I dropped Rain down to 1, and I put Zangen to 1. So because I figured if it get damaged out, then
you still get the ability.
Then I still get it, and then I don't clog my deck with missed opportunities. If I have one on the board and then I draw another one, then it's just wasted. But this card in particular, Zand, is something I would consider running as a 1-of. Just because of the utility of you may need it, but if you don't, then you can always pitch it.
I gave it a 3 myself.
I mean, I give that one a 4 because aside from its pickiness with bringing it out, it's a great card.
I agree with you that it should probably just be like a 1 of, which is why I have to give it a 3.5 because it's just like it's good, but you don't want to see it all the time.
Right.
And,
to be fair, Mr. Phoenix here is a fire.
yeah, that's
He
true.
plays fire, water, and fire, wind. So he's kind of partial to burning the hell out of everything.
I just
I'm the exact
the
opposite.
magic the thing is Zahn hits a lot of magic numbers.
He does.
Like 5 kills mostly any 2-drop,
Yep.
mostly any weak 3-drop, and then if he trades up with anybody, then you 2-for-1
Yo,
them.
absolutely, yeah.
It's over. Like, it gets around a lot of other cheeky stuff too, which we'll go over later down this list. Moving on, we have Zell, 3-drop forward, a 6k body. When Zell attacks, choose a forward to cost 3 or less. Your opponent controls and it cannot block this turn.
Anti-blocking's so good in this game.
My first impression was I did not like him. I did not like him because he was a 6k body, which I'm not partial to non-magic numbers in this deck or in this game. And then the fact that it's picky with 3 drops or less. The former version of this in like the chapters game was just choose a forward and it can't block. I think that's what it was doing. But as I was thinking about it, you can still really close the gap with that ability. Early game for sure, and mid game for sure. If your opponents are dropping 3, like it just stops a 3-drop Squall or 3-drop Terra altogether.
Yeah.
It stops like cheeky Euphies from wanting to block or anything. And it clears the way for really anything else that's bigger than the 3-drop too. Like they can't chump block.
Yeah.
Lan.
And it stops Gordon entirely.
Lan.
Yeah. Like it just clears the way for a lot of things. So I will definitely be running 2 of them. If I like the performance of it, I'd run 3 of them. Of course, this is comboing together with like Fire Red Mage or the new Tifa, which we'll talk about soon. But I would give this
3.5.
I would give it a solid 4 still. Like I see.
The problem is I just don't like fire.
Well,
so
no,
I'm
no,
really,
well, realize though that you are a fire main, so
Yeah.
you're gonna look at it more objectively with what you know. We're looking objectively from the outside looking in.
Yeah, I mean,
for
this-
fire.
Think about it this way: if you incorporate this Zell with like Wind's ability to get under things, also and Fire's ability to get under or over things, and you add this Zell into the mix too, now it's just even more difficult shit to deal with on a blocking basis. And like Fire in general is going to be a difficult 2-block deck.
EXE free. Fuck.
Yeah. I mean, if they resolve that, then whatever. But yeah, moving.
Next.
Oh, okay. Well, did you want to give a number?
I mean, I also agree with the 3.5. Just like the big thing is that I really like is it just says it cannot block this turn instead of like can't block this specific. What the fuck is his name?
Right. It just turns it off for the whole turn.
And I think because I'd probably just give this like a straight 3.
Yeah.
Other than that, but
No,
I could see the 4.
Yeah.
No Gordon chumping.
Yeah.
Oh my God, shit's on Gordon chumps.
That Gordon is gone for my next 3 attacks.
What Gordon?
Bam, bam.
Yeah.
It's great.
Next 3, try the rest of the damn game.
Yeah,
Right.
no, seriously. Well, the next 3 and then you win.
Yeah. Let's move on. We have Selfie, which is a 2-drop backup.
Selfie.
You can pay 2 fire and $1. Choose an attacking forward. It gains 2k until the end of the turn. Now, I initially thought also, this is another one that I thought was initially not that great, but this game right now is all about tiebreakers and first strike.
Yeah.
And because there's so many matching numbers. So
My problem with this card is not what it does, is not what it costs. The fact that it takes a rare slot.
we don't care about that.
I don't care about the slots. That's
No, I just for what it does, it doesn't feel like
I think it
That's
totally
true.
does. I think it totally does. Because think of it this way: like if this thing it breaks ties with 8Ks versus 8Ks. It breaks ties with it makes it so your 7Ks can get over their 8Ks. It makes it so you can even trade up with your 6Ks to their 8Ks. So like if I paired this up with this Zell, for example, Zell attacks in and like I don't know, your opponent has a like has like a 8K Gilgamesh and decides to block with it, now your Selfie says, well, we can just trade up.
It's the fact that it costs 2 fire.
That's so cheap, though.
And tap it.
That's so cheap, in my opinion.
So it's
I don't know.
It's technically 3 for +2.
That's a similar utility. That's almost the same price actually as Red Mage is 2 and tap.
Except for Red Mage just says you can't block.
Yeah, but in this sense, Selfie says you
This
shouldn't
almost says-
block.
Yeah, like
Selfie says you shouldn't block.
it's like Kefka. He basically says this thing's unblockable,
It's a mini Kefka, yeah.
and the upside is it doesn't break it. Like
Yeah.
Except for
there's not a lot of effects that just give plus on the field that stay there.
Yeah.
They don't sacrifice themselves, and they
Maria.
don't require. Yeah, sure. But, like, this is just another one of those. And, yeah, you have to pay for it every turn, and you only get to target one thing.
But instead of
But
1K also, it's a
in-
2K bonus, which is marginally fine. Like,
In most instances, you're not even going to need to activate it. Just the threat of having that. And, like, if you have a hand and you attack, like,
then
they're going to be worried about you.
just
activating
resolving it,
it.
yeah, and they're like, it makes them second guess,
It's really not that expensive. You discard one card,
and that's it.
and you tap it.
Yeah. So that's just my opinion, though. I give this Selfie solid 3.5 to 4 still. Like I see the utility in it.
I could definitely give this a 4.
Yeah.
3. I'm not saying it's not bad.
You're not sold
I
on it. You're just not sold on it. It's okay. It's
It's
good
going
to
to
have.
take testing.
That's why we have a 3-person group here, so we can all have different opinions and not.
I'd also like
all-
to mention, this is essentially my first time looking at these cards.
Oh my god.
It's actually
Because I've browsed the list a couple times, but never really like in depth looked and like in depth thought.
So you're going off of a very first impression.
Yes, first impression, yeah.
Well, that's
'Cause,
good.
I mean, I prefer, and if you look at this list, you'll see, and I'm sure there's other people that feel the same way. I prefer to see the actual card when I'm just reading a bunch of freaking words, and especially the way this is formatted. Like I have to like scroll to the left.
Yeah, you're like, okay.
It's like,
well,
and I can't remember what just came before. So like, it's just easier for me to look at a card.
I'm going to get a tablet for us for.
that'd be kind of cool. So we have 3 different perspectives too, and also like 3 different gauges of experience too. Like you come from Alex comes from a very strong Magic the Gathering background. I myself come from and DBZ TCG, the Panini one.
Rest in peace.
The Panini one.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. I come from like a Vanguard Yu-Gi-Oh background with very light Magic the Gathering understanding. And Finn just comes from everything. He plays
Really?
he plays a little bit of everything.
I played Magic for, at this point, 17 years.
Jeez.
Long ass time.
Jeez Louise. It's
So-
almost as long as it's been alive.
And then like in terms of this list in relation to like I've been reading this list religiously, just trying to think of like different interactions and stuff. I think Finn's read it just slightly less, but still been keeping up with it just so for discussion's sake. And now Alex, you're just first seeing it, so we have completely different perspectives.
Like a virgin.
It's
Reading Opus II for the
Movie-
very first time.
anyways, we digress. I digress.
Sean digresses for
On
us.
the warrior.
Yep.
Moving on, we got Warrior, 2 drop forward, 5K body.
Standard unit.
Yeah, standard unit, so that
Relevant.
matters for Warrior of Lights.
Relevant.
Yeah. Pay 1 fire, Warrior gains 1,000 power. So you can you could dip your hands. You could.
I've got a problem with this card.
What's the problem with this card?
Its name is Warrior.
Yeah.
It's a standard unit.
Yeah.
Which means the light Warrior light in the set
Yeah.
doesn't save him for damage.
No, it doesn't do shit for him. The orphans will though, which is nice. The orphans will make this warrior worth running.
I wish they were Warrior light though. Like
Yeah.
that's a whole different ballgame though. Onward.
So you could essentially like if you have a bunch of spare mana to float around and it happens to be fire, you could pump the shit out of this warrior and go in. I mean, I don't think that's a good idea. You could be playing, just better cards.
Yeah.
I don't see this thing being run in many decks.
Yeah. Coming from Magic, I liked him when I first read it, and then I remembered that this is Final Fantasy and not Magic, and I was like, oh.
Oh, in Magic, this card's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like
This is meant to crochet.
he's not amazing. He's just a
he can push through.
drag.
though.
He's a dragon hatchling.
It's meant to
in Magic.
No, it's Nantuko Shade
That's true.
in this game.
Yeah.
See, like, it's funny that you mentioned that because it's kind of we'll talk about this probably in some other discussion or another podcast if this ends up becoming something that we would like to do more often. But
I'm having a blast.
Set 1 Fury and the 4-drop with the
Superman.
ability to get first strike, or the ability to get brave, the ability to get pumped by 1k or damaged by 1k.
Only fire is good.
The impression is that card should be fantastic also, and it's not. It's not fantastic.
But it's not bad.
It's not bad, but it's not nearly as good as it would be in like Magic, where you have that much more flexibility.
This is a stupid ruling question. Okay. I think I already know the answer.
Yeah.
If I were to discard a fire card from my hand, I could still only activate Warrior
Right?
once.
Yeah, you're only paying
That's the
for the
big
one
problem.
thing. That would
Because like I could totally see this in like almost Gilgamesh if you could discard like cards to make him big. You
Yeah,
just like swing in.
like, let's reword this. If it costed 1 to pump him by 1k, and then it had, or you could pay 2 fire to pump him by 2k. Now that would be really cool. And I would actually like this would be way more in the conversation in terms of deck building, because then you could pitch.
To
2K,
be fair, though,
2K,
7,
to be
2K.
fair,
9. And
Yep.
2 cards is 9, 11, you know.
Yeah.
As much as I agree with you that that'd be cool as hell, let's stop and think about the fact that it is a standard unit.
So paired up with the Water Warrior of Life from the first set,
The orphans coming out
the Orphans, which also just pump the shit out of dudes.
and
There's
makes him a
a-
1-drop.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yep. The water one will make it a 1-drop, which
So he's still relevant.
he's in the
Yeah.
conversation if you run him in the right deck. That's
He's looking for a home.
yeah.
Just like the orphans.
Just like the Orphans.
Exactly. See, there you go.
Well,
Gone Tifa.
I'll
gonna
give
rate him?
that. Yeah,
He doesn't even deserve a rating.
I'll rate the Warrior. It's a solid 3 because of the nitpicky decks it can be in.
I have to rate him TBD. I gotta wait.
You don't know yet. Well, just off first impression, what would you like?
3, but that's still a Magic background, and you're looking at him and going,
yeah.
We'll have to see. All of these.
First
We'll have to
impression
see.
for me was a 4, and then it
Then
went
you're
to a
like, oh,
3,
wait.
and then the TBD could be 4. It
Yeah.
could go back to 4 if if somebody or me or whoever finds somewhere good, because I could see him find somewhere.
Moving on, we have the second legendary for the fire elements, and one of my favorite things coming out. Tifa, 5-drop forward,
this is the biggest pocket burner for Phoenix over here.
9k power. I already bought one from overseas from some guy. He's charging £30, which translates to $37 here, which I thought was a really good price for a foil.
Oh yeah, okay. I thought
So
you meant
what-
just like
No,
Who are we
because
talking about?
I imagine
Phoenix Smash doesn't get out of bed for anything less than foils.
if we get allocations, not even as severe as Opus 1, but even close to it, the secondary market's going to explode again. And
Yeah.
foils are going to be super high anyway, so
Yep.
I figured this is probably the time to go into it anyways, especially at this price. Anyways, moving on. When Tifa attacks, choose one forward. It cannot block this turn. It is a fire red mage built in itself, just by attacking.
Shit's on Gordon.
Yeah, by Gordon. Like if you pair her with Zell, like Zell takes care of Gordon, she takes care of everyone else. Anyways,
Well, finished.
yeah. She has a special, Dolphin's Blow, which is special and 3 fire. Forwards of cost 3 or less cannot block this turn. There ain't no choosing.
Yeah,
right
there ain't
now.
no choosing.
Just all their forwards of cost 3 or less. So it actually makes
take the Dolphins blow.
So it actually
there ain't
makes
no choosing.
it actually makes Zell actually obsolete.
Yeah.
If you resolve the special though, you might not be able to. So
Listen, I think we'll be able to.
you think so?
How many Tifas are there now?
I'd want the stupidity
It's only 35.
redundancy to have both of them.
Yeah, I would want the Zell on the board with the Tifa for the occasions where I don't have the other
Yeah.
Tifa. It's common sense to have your bases covered.
Yeah.
Paired with a fire red mage in the back, you're saying 3 things aren't blocking at least.
See, that right there is where you go swing, then pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Always swing first before you
Yeah.
pay for that.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, what would constitute a 5 out of 5? And I think this for
This
sure.
is-
This is
the
fire
5 out
one.
of 5.
Yeah,
This is the
this is
fire
exactly
5
what
out
we're
of
looking
5.
for. There's like no downside. It's a 9K for 5, perfect, right in the sweet spot.
There's already a searcher for it.
Mm-hmm. Oh Jesus, yeah.
It won't give. Zangan gives Tifa's a 4 or less haste, so this 5-drop won't, obviously won't be a part of that. But who cares? You search for it. It's
it's a searchable, amazing.
I believe every element has a 5 out of 5 forward and a 5 out of 5 backup.
maybe. I don't know.
And maybe even a summon. Let me phrase that.
I would
a 5
say
out of 5 forward and a 5 out of 5 either backup
or
summon.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in this case, this Tifa is a 5 out of 5.
Because the summon's coming.
I would 100% run this in the Fire Water deck I'm building. I would 100% run this in the Fire Wind deck I'm building. I would 100% run this in any Fire deck I'm
You're
building.
running Fire, you run this.
Yes.
I honestly think you should run all 3.
There's no
Yeah,
question
honestly,
about it.
Not 9 of them.
You mean
but
like some form of each. I think what I'm going to tinker with is 3 of the Legendary and then 1 of the Water Kick. I don't know how the 2-drop haste one will float in the deck, but I might run it still. I haven't decided yet.
I think it should be 3-1-3. 1 water kick, 3 dolphin, 3 haste. Because the haste one, turn 1 drop swing good. Oh, you're gonna pop it
but
because EX burst? Cool.
Early damage doesn't seem to be super great in this game, though. It's just,
If you're playing the aggressive deck, I think it is.
you think so?
And I think with this set, aggression is going to become a lot more.
I think with the Searcher,
important.
it makes it so you could run 1 copy of the haste, 1 copy of the Water Kick.
3-1-2. How about that?
I think 3-1-1 would even be. It's less deck space, and since you have the Searcher, you can pick and choose your battles too. So, maybe run more of the Searcher, like 2 or 3 of the Searcher.
If you do 3-1-1, that's 10%.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a little over if it's something I want to be able to persona.
We could talk about deck building all day. But
Yeah, I was gonna say,
that'd be another video.
Moving on.
Trade secrets.
We have Tella.
Nutella, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Nutella.
Was there an old Tella?
No, there's not.
This is amazing.
Oh, I can't wait till next time we get
This
to
is out of 5, but this is amazing.
It's a 4-drop backup. Dull, put Tella into the break zone, choose a forward, deal at 9k.
Oof.
And I think that's incredible.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a 5 out of 5. But
That's a 4 out of 5 for sure. Yeah. Just because it costs 4. If it was like a 3, that'd be a straight 5 all day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I could justify a smaller version of it being a 3-drop to burn for 8 or something.
See, 3 for 9, I'm coming from UFS, like I've done. That's like the penultimate attack. 3 high 9, all day.
Mm-hmm.
I would justify running 2 copies of this for the mid to late game.
Yes.
Because a 4-drop in mid to late game is not difficult at all to kind of throw down.
Yeah.
And then you have just that security blanket of you can just kill something.
Definitely.
And it's over. Yeah, it's solid 4 out of 5 for me. I would give it a 5 out of 5, but just I have an understanding that there are ways to get around this kind of backup damage, and what we can we'll run into that in a bit here. Moving on, we have 2-drop Ninja forward, 4k power. First strike, when Ninja is blocked, deal the blocking forward 2k damage. It's
Standard unit.
standard unit also, so that matters.
Pseudo 6k first strike.
Yeah, it's a 2-drop too, so in Golbez it's 100% eligible to be ran. It's a mixture. It's like a marriage between the 3-drop Squall and the 2-drop Red 13.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of a little bit worse in both directions.
But because it combines them, it's its
justifies
own different
itself.
beast,
Yeah. I mean, I completely see the utility behind it. I don't know if I would run it myself. It would really depend on the deck. If you do like a cumulative burn type deck,
Almost literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost Cloud 2.
We're looking at the 2-drop Cloud from the first set, and it's almost the same.
Just less wordy.
Yeah.
So
I like this guy. I like this guy a lot.
I like him, but I like him because the utility he can provide in multiple things.
Yeah.
Like, he seems very flexible.
I like him because in Fire Wind he gets a massive pump.
Yeah, Fire Winds, I would definitely consider running him.
No. Because of the ninja in the set.
Edge. Yeah, Edge. I would give him probably a 3. Just a hard 3.
3.5.
Yeah, same 3.5 for sure.
Moving on to Bosch. Forward,
Bosch.
3-drop, 7k power. If you control Ash, Bosch gains 2k power, so he can become a 9k as a 3-drop, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
His special Flame Purge is special, 3 fire, 2 colorless, and dull,
That's
which
so
is
weird.
a really expensive cost. It's effectively, you're paying 7, 2 for the special, 3 for the fire, and then 2 for whatever else.
It's
And
like
you're
a,
dulling him.
it's like a mini Bahamut, though.
It's a mini Bahamut for 7, effectively. Choose up to 2 forwards to deal 9k. He literally does nothing if you don't have Ash, or if you don't have more Bosch in your deck.
And I think he's the only Bosch in the game right now.
He's the only Bosch in the game, too, which makes me hesitant. I'm hesitant with the cards that have special abilities that only have one copy.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
But they're gonna release more copies.
Yeah, this is definitely something you'd want to pick up and hold on to.
Yeah. He's not gonna see immediate play.
I don't justify it personally. Ash is a water forward, and Ash does busted things, and because of the fact that she does more than what her special provides, I would consider writing her. But Bosch, just being a 9k beater and not always having that persona, Vanguard terminology, I wouldn't justify running it.
He's Orin from Opus 1 Ice.
He's Jax.
No, he's Orin from Opus 1 Ice. 3 ice and a copy of it to dull all forwards the opponent controls. You're paying 3 ice and you have to have a copy of a guy there's only one version of in the set.
Yeah, well, I was going to say it's like Jack also, where there's only one copy of him, but he's a kill spell.
Except for Jack's a body, like a massive body when your opponent tries to rush.
But he's not like a fire that anybody considers as a must run, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like Trish, for example, is like the only sole exception, in my opinion, from set 1. Where there's only one copy, but you have to run her. Because what she does offers so much.
You can't not run her.
Yeah, that's not a hero.
Yeah.
Bosch, I don't see being that card. So I don't know. Right now, because of all the things you need in order for Bosch to actually be useful, I would give a solid 2.5 to 3, just because when he does have his utility, he's useful.
I think in a vacuum where you can assume that you can activate the special on a regular basis, this guy is like a 4. If there were other copies of Bosch, and you could activate him on a regular basis like you could any other special, he'd be insane.
Of course.
Where he is now, though, 2.
At the current moment, yes.
You're not going to run him.
As soon as there's another Bosch out, 100%. Be a 4, maybe even a 5 if the other Bosch can offer some good utility too.
He's gonna just ride a binder right now.
Right.
He's gonna be that card.
You're gonna see him in everybody's binder. Everybody's gonna be pulling this
and
guy.
Foil triples. There'll be triple foil of him everywhere.
Yeah.
He'll be $2-3.
So we'll see.
I like him.
Moving on, we have Palom. I think that's how you pronounce it. Or Palom is a 3-drop forward, white mage, 6k power. When Palom enters the field other than from your hand, choose a forward, deal it 7k. Its special comment is freaking insane. You pay special dull Palom, and then dull and active Porom, which is the sibling. Deal your opponent 1 point of damage. So this is the actual burn. This is MTG burn.
Yeah, this is real to your face dealing damage that actually hurts you.
This is Fire Wind's kill.
Fire Wind?
Wait, sorry.
Fire Water.
No, Fire Wind Water. I was meaning to say all 3.
If you're doing a tricolor deck.
The reason why is because you're like Zidane, Yuffie, and eventually the opponent goes, I just stop you because I read 13 Phoenix.
Yeah.
Or any of that, and then you just go.
Then you get the twins out.
Twin.
Yeah.
Wreck you.
This is a passive way to win the game.
Problem I see with that is it's a 6k. There's a lot of 6k burn.
Especially
a lot of 6k burn. I don't see this guy sitting around on the field. He's such a huge threat. He draws so much attention to himself.
Yeah.
It's like a Cloud. Cloud is great, right? Until you realize there's a lot of stuff that just kill him, and your opponent's going to immediately go for it.
Except you're never hard casting this if you get the option.
Yeah, we'll move as we'll discuss with the second Palom on this list.
Actually, as soon as you're done saying, go straight into it before we give numbers because they have to be ran together.
Yeah. So the 1-drop Palom is the reason why this kind of works a bit better. is a forward apprentice mage, 1k power. When Palm attacks, choose one forward and deal 2k. Marginally not important. And then when Palm deals damage to your opponent or when a forward damaged by Palm is sent from the field to the break zone during the same turn, you may put Palm in the break zone. If you do, search for the 3-drop and put it on. Is in your hand or on the board?
It says in play.
Okay, so put it on the board. So, yeah, that's the way to kind of marginalize it a bit. You can early game. You can 1-drop Palm. You could give it haste on the first turn. Do things and then just like that's on a good day, you know.
If you don't want to play the 1-drop, the next best option would be to play Ice and Devout the 3-drop into play.
Here's what here's where I see Palm Parum combo being useful, and we'll talk a little more about it when we get to Parum at the very bottom of the list.
Yep.
In a control deck is where you just play cards that do nothing but try to protect these twins and let them get their effect off as frequently as possible to damage your opponent out for 7. But you play things like Cecil, either the new Cecil or the rare Cecil that becomes a lightning rod for abilities. And you play things like Minwu so that small burns can't get to it. Just various methods of protection.
It's got to be 3-color. No matter how you look at it.
You think it has to be 3-color in order to succeed?
I agree.
You know how you do it? You play Lightning and Sage the copy back to your hand. That way you can just keep going.
Or you could play, if you did Winds, Water, Fire, you could just Planet Protect. You know?
No. So you keep getting the copy back to Persona out.
Oh yeah, because you do have to do that.
It sounds like a lot of Perfect Storm kind of stuff.
It sounds like a lot of work, honestly.
It sounds like too much. Like you're relying on like literal perfect things happening, and it doesn't seem realistic.
I'm building it.
Go for it. And if it works, you know what?
I'm
I'm recorded here saying I don't think it'll work.
I'm under the wrong impression too. I for some reason was thinking you don't have to pitch another copy.
Yeah.
And in which case that makes it significantly less
right now without some kind of magic
doable
stuff.
For
you
me.
know, you're getting 5 activations.
I gotta. Okay, so I don't know.
And then you filled your deck with a bunch of stuff to get these activations going, so you don't have a way to like close out the game other than like getting those things and recurring it back to your hand. And meanwhile, I feel like your opponent's just doing things, you're protecting a 6K. I don't know.
I will give my reading now then on account of both Paloms since we've discussed them. I can put them in a package as a hard low 3, maybe a high 2.
I think this ability is really, really neat, and I'm glad to see something like it exist in this game. But as it is right now, it seems like a whole lot of work that you could just be doing better, more efficient things, I feel. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I could totally be wrong. I don't know. Right now, I'm giving it like 2.5.
I gave it a straight up 3.
Yeah.
And when the set drops, I will build this deck, and we'll come back to it with the deck, the deck profile on
Absolutely.
We'll do this.
Absolutely. And I'm excited to see that. I want to be proven wrong.
I would like to see... I would really like to see these twins do amazing things. I like if somebody finds some random tech for it that just makes it an incredible deck. Sure, let's see it. But as of now, I don't have hopes for it.
God, I might even give it a 1.5. Because like unless you're doing that combo, there's no reason to. Yeah, I'm going with 1. I'm giving it a straight 1. Unless you're running that specific combo, you're not gonna throw it into a deck.
Here's what we'll do. When we get to water, I'll read off the twin, and then
maybe I'll change.
Yes, I'll ask if your rating changes.
All right.
Moving on. We're almost at the bottom of fire. It's almost been an hour. Yeah.
Maybe we need to break this down into like.
If you're listening to this now, we might separate this per element. It seems
we'll probably just sit here and record the whole thing.
Yeah, we'll record the whole thing, but I'll separate it into segments so that we can.
You'll get more views too. Ooh.
More content. But anyways, we got.
Oh, he's cheating. He's showing me right now.
Go ahead, keep going.
Okay, so as I say, Finn and showing Alex something. I don't know. Anyways, moving on to Bergen, 4-drop forward, 8k body. You pay 1 fire, 1 colorless. To deal all forwards your opponent controls 1k damage. When Bergen is chosen by summon, Bergen dies.
Phantasmal image.
So, I don't like this card at all. I don't like it. I don't see.
2 mana, deal all forwards. Opponent controls 1,000 damage.
So you could abuse this. You could. Here's the thing that we're talking about, where you could pay 2 from your hand to maximize the value per se. So you could mini board wipe things. So you could pitch.
Not
3
really.
Things. You could pitch
No.
3 things from your hand to do 3k damage.
That's not worth it.
No, yeah.
You could wipe the whole board for, I think it's a total of
5k.
5 CP.
Oh.
Because I think it's the water summon from the
Oh yeah,
the
there
very
is.
first previews.
Oh yeah.
Deal or power minus 10k or minus 1k.
You're right.
Hmm.
Okay,
And you
but
just
we're talking about in a vacuum right now because we'll get to that. Because you're right. That would be cool. On its own, you don't want to pitch a card to deal
1k to the board.
and you don't really want
It's
to
just-
tap 2 of your backups.
The next
for-
card that we discuss will be my sole exception. So
We're looking for anything with him before we go on. The thing that makes him infinitely worse to me is the way he's worded.
Yeah.
Not break him. Put him in the break zone.
he's not considered broken. He just moves there.
Yeah, so you can't chemist him to
It's the classic Yu-Gi-Oh wording of don't destroy the monster, send it to the graveyard instead.
I mean, that makes sense to me.
Yeah,
I think they did that on purpose.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt they did it on purpose. I'm just saying that's what makes him worse in my opinion.
Yeah.
He needs to be comboed hard in order to get value. If he's not comboed, if he's a standalone dude, he's terrible. But because of that, I give him a solid 1.5.
Yep, I will agree with that sentiment. The only thing that you ever want to see him do is you want to go Bergen, that summon his ability, like that turn.
There's one more thing that we could do with him, but anyways, what do you guys give Bergen?
I'm agreeing with you. 1.5.
1.5.
Yeah, 1.5.
Yeah.
It's that phantasmal image.
But it's like Phantasm is just an amazing card.
Well,
It does completely different things.
Rephrase it. It's the illusion.
Yeah, it's the
ability.
illusion ability, which isn't very great. And then is like, you can do what he does, I feel, for less mana.
Next up we have Summoner. 2-drop, backup, standard unit, but that doesn't matter because it's a backup. The ability is dull, Summoner, then put him into the break zone. If a forward receives damage this turn, the damage increases by 1,000 instead. I see extremely high amounts of potential for this backup. I would actually want to run like 3 of them because of the fact that he says this turn.
Yeah. It's not the next instance of damage, it's all instances of damage.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a two-way street, though. All damage from your opponent.
All damage from your opponent, but you time it correctly and it doesn't matter.
You're doing it with burn spells, not necessarily with, like, damage.
Right. You could do it with damage. And what I like about this, with this card is, it makes it so that if you're running 7Ks or 6Ks, and they have dudes that are 1,000 power stronger, it's now trading distance with your weaker dudes.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if their stronger dudes can deal more damage to your weaker dudes.
I mean, yeah, you look at, like, this with First Strike, and it's just absurd.
He's referring to Red 13.
Yeah, I'm looking at
right
Red
now.
13, then we have one copy on the table right here, and, 6k First Strike, essentially, for 2. That's
Which
pretty
is
good.
really good. Now, what I was saying earlier is if you pair this up with Bergen, then you can board wipe things for 2k, which is a little bit better. Because now you're not pitching 4 cards from your hand to deal 4k damage, you're pitching 2.
Yeah.
So you could pay that effectively, board wipe their like Zidans or Snows or any like lightning small dudes. But anyways, like you pair this summoner up. You pair this summoner up with Brynhildr, and now Brynhildr is just a kill spell.
Mm-hmm.
If you pair it up with the 2-drop of Freet that we discussed earlier, it now does what Brynhildr does for less. You know, it's just I see so much utility in this card.
Tifa, 5
Water kick.
yeah, water.
Yeah,
kick
water
Tifa.
kick Tifa deals like dulls something and deals 7, a little bit more significant. So because of that, I give this thing a solid 4 because I see that it has so much potential. I see all the potential that you could do with it.
Especially since it just costs 2.
4.5.
It's so easy to get out.
It allows you to be much more aggressive, and I like that.
Yeah, definitely a solid 4. Maybe even a 4.5.
I give it a 4.5 because of the number of things that you can do with it. Gordon does 5.
Yeah.
And takes 0.
That's pretty good.
All right, so what was next? What's
Belias
next?
the Gigas.
Oh, this is the 5 out of 5 for me in
Yeah.
Fire.
I was reading this guy.
This summon is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. It's read it.
Yeah.
'cause-
Okay.
Shit.
2-drop summon. EX Burst. Choose one forward. Until the end of the turn, it gains 1,000 power, haste, and first strike, and you draw a card.
Yeah, I mean, this card does everything. Where was this in set 1?
I know.
Like, come on. This would have made Fire so much more appealing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even need to really, like, talk about it. If you've played card games, just the fact that it replaces itself and does 3 things. I mean, it's so
Like
good.
we can break it down all day to its parts, but the
It's a
fact
5.
that it's sum of the whole, it's a 5. Yeah, it is a 5.
It could do one less thing and still be like a 4, close to a 5.
I mean,
Here's the cheeky dumb play, and this goes for Phoenix over here. Oh, you're purposely holding your 7K versus my lawn? Gigasit?
Yeah.
I just, I don't know. I'm at a somewhat loss for words because of, like, I see that this has way too much potential. Breaks all tiebreakers, like you were just saying.
No,
Makes-
I mean Gigas their guy.
Oh,
And swing
shit.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you could do that. And
I guess.
that makes, I mean, if it seals
Sure,
the game
yeah,
and
that's a
Lon-
silly potential, play right there.
You know
but
what? Those silly potentials.
You don't
are
even
what
need
win
to. You don't even
games.
talk about like the little silly things because what it does, just on your own, dude,
It is silly.
exactly what you'd think.
just to give something, well, I mean, this is just the better backup that we were talking about earlier that gives something haste to the end of the turn. This is the summon version that gives it haste and first strike and 1k, and you draw a card. You make up for it.
It replaces itself.
It's also a battle trick, so it's just your combat trick or whatever, so you attack in with your blatantly weaker dude, and instead of trading up, you could just first strike and it's gone.
And your opponent's
Like-
gonna know that you have it in your hand. They're just not gonna block your dude. You're
Here's
gonna get a free
here's the other
damage.
thing, though. When they go swing, it feels like Sylph. When they swing in and get an EX, you're just like, give my guy everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, King Midas.
What was I going to say here? I think this set gives a much more aggressive identity to Fire as a whole,
Yeah.
Definitely.
just from what
That's-
we've seen so far.
That's what I was saying. I think like before you couldn't like just do straight early damage and hope to win early. I think you can maybe do that now.
It's just now, like, Belias the Gigas, or Belias, or however the hell you pronounce it, is the icing on the cake. It is the 5 out of 5 card that you have to run if you're playing Fire, because it offers way too much utility for whatever purpose you need it for. So yeah, 5 out of 5. No question.
Definitely.
We're going to move on to the much more lukewarm Imitation Leachman, the 3-drop forward. He's also a mannequin for the mannequin archetype, 6k power. When Leachman enters the field, choose one forward opponent controls, deal 2k. If you control another mannequin other than Leachman, deal 5k instead. A 5k burn is not bad.
But you must control another mannequin.
You must control another
Yeah.
mannequin. So,
Now-
if you ran a mannequin deck, then great. You're getting that 5k burn. It's pretty decent.
Ruling question.
Yeah.
And this would probably require us going to the source. If they go this guy and you go ability on, pop your other mannequin.
So you play, okay, so you have a mannequin, you play Leachman, you target them to burn, and then
You
they
flashing a dude.
they responds with an ability to kill the other mannequin, so that the
So it would go from 5k to 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to make sure. Or do
mean,
they get locked in
I
on
believe
play?
I
no,
believe
it would
since it
definitely be a 2. It would go down to
I
2.
was just say I believe since it resolves backwards, when Leachman comes back to resolve, it makes the check to make sure that there's another
every
mannequin.
other ruling that they've done where things are on the stack have shown that it's like magic.
It resolves
that
backwards and
it
you
would
check
resolve,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just like with, the one that I can think of is like Aerith. If they target your guy, you can Aerith in response, make it a hexproof and the spell fizzles. This would be the same thing. It's
It
not
checks
completely
Yeah. Because of his utility, because of the fact that he's in a mannequin deck, I'm sure he's going to do just fine. But,
outside of that,
typical utility, yeah.
Yeah.
Very much a 2. He doesn't have much to offer outside of that, because if you run him for the 2k burn, then
you ain't killing shit.
Might as well just run the 2-drop Cloud from set 1, which also does a 2k burn, So, anyways. Mont Blanc, a 2-drop backup. It's a Moogle.
Hey man, Moogles are going to be a thing now.
Moogles are not going to be a thing now.
No, but there's...
Every color gets a Moogle backup.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
That does stuff based on Moogles.
So, in the future, we'll see Moogle stuff. 2-drop, or 2-fire, Doll Moogle, or Doll Mont Blanc. Choose a forward, deal 1k damage for each Moogle you control. So if you ran
5 color, or whatever color
5
Moogle.
color, yeah.
Moth.
5 color Moogles, and then you just ran all the backups, and they all just happen to be in
Moth
backups
13.
at the time. Yeah. At the same time, then, yes, you can resolve burning something for 5k, but aside from that, I don't see the utility in it. I don't like it.
Yeah. It does...
It's
a 2-drop backup.
It's a 2-drop backup that could burn for 1 or could burn for 5, but...
It's a 2-drop backup.
I still give it a 1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The other Moogles are better.
If we can get a full Moogle archetype, then this thing's going to see massive amounts of play. But until then, no, it's a 1. Moving on.
Wait.
What?
Lie. Fire water with Yuna. Or no, is it? It's an Earth summon. That gives everybody a job.
Yeah.
Shit.
Okay, well you heard it. You heard it first here.
Combos. Here we go.
So you could.
Shit.
We'll talk about that summon in the Earth section. But yeah, that one will effectively change all your forwards to a Moogle. So
maybe
potential. There's potential. Well, you could say that for like any of the Moogle backups, but. Anyways,
all the backups.
We're moving on. We're almost done with this fire section. We got Lunith, a 3-drop. This is incorrect. It's actually a forward. It has 7k power. The job standard units.
What's its power then?
7k.
He literally just said that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was like...
That's all right. So this list is a little bit incorrect still. But the ability is correct here. When the job standard unit forwards you control gain haste. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Combo with what were we talking about? The 2-drop warrior, the ninja. There's some things you could do with it.
Yeah, I mean standard unit deck.
Yeah,
I already have one built. It's fun.
Warrior
it's not
White
great.
Rush deck.
Yeah, but I mean now with this it could be. I mean that's honestly what that deck needed was I'd fall behind and I would be able to play a lot of things in one turn.
Giving everything.
Giving them haste.
Just good.
Yeah, definitely.
Bart is a Moogle.
Yeah, he has all the jobs.
Moving on. Oh, Lunith, solid 4 for what it does. Not for like any other deck, but for what it does.
For its deck, it's a 4.
Yeah, it's a 4 for what it does.
I mean, in a vacuum, I'm gonna go with like a 3.
Yeah.
In that deck, yeah, you play it.
Yeah. Moving on, we have
Rubicante.
Yeah, it's Rubicante or Rubicant.
Archfiend.
4-drop Archfiend.
I don't know how I feel about this.
9k power. When it attacks, activate all the forwards your opponent controls. So it's a bit of a drawback for having a 4-drop 9k body. Its special, however, is pretty decent. Barrier Shift, S, and 1 fire. Name 1 elements, and can't be chosen by summons or abilities of the named element this turn. So it can give itself
pseudo protection from an element.
Pseudo protection from any elements. I think I heard this from some other discussion. Maybe not. But I don't see the value in it if a lot of decks are going to be 2-3 colors.
The thing it does do for you, it allows you to go swing. Oh, you're playing lightning, or you're playing lightning X, whatever else.
Yeah.
Call lightning so Odin can't touch me.
Yeah.
That's like the play for him.
Well, here's the thing: you can do it in response.
Yeah, you can make it.
You can't respond to EXs.
Well,
Sure.
what he was saying is,
right, okay.
if they damage an Odin or something. But, you could respond to things, and that would be kind of nice. But just, if your opponent knows that this thing is on the board, they're going to prepare for it. They're going to have one out of each color. And they're going to be like, do this, and then... I mean, I guess it's alright, because then they're using extra resources to get rid of it, but, like...
It is a 9K, but, I mean, it's kind of like our discussion about Leon from set 1.
Yeah.
I think he's good, but the risk is too high.
Mm-hmm.
The 3-drop that lets your opponent play something also for free. It's really good. But I don't know.
His downside is too much for me.
Of activating?
Activate all the forwards opponent controls.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't like it either. I think it just completely defeats the purpose of a lot of things.
I mean, if you're playing heavy forward control, then you're not worried.
Let's put it this way: if you combo it with the Tifa, with the Zell, with Red
That's
Mage,
true.
then okay, it has a little utility. But even still, it's just a 9K beater with pseudo shroud.
It's not. A 4K or a 4 cost 9K it's good, and it's got protection. Like, it's so close. I could see this finding a home. Like, so getting into Magic a little bit, there was this one card. I'm trying to remember what exactly it did. It was a 4 cost 6/6 flyer with like a huge downside, but it eventually found a home and became like.
Wait, what was it again?
4 cost. It was 2 black, 2 colorless, 6K flyer. It was a demon. God, what was its downside? The downside was like ridiculously bad, but it eventually found a home. It's very similar to this, where like if they had a blocker, it was just kind of like, or just like even a creature on their field, it was just bad for you. But people found a way around it, and it became like an amazing card. People freaking loved it. I think this could happen. I think if you find a way to like control their forwards to the point where them being active doesn't matter to you, I think this guy could be really, really good.
Yeah, it's just so situational is the biggest issue.
I give it a 3 until we see the decks, because if we play massive control, like we were saying, the guy is great. If you're just going to throw him in a deck, I'd rather
Emperor, run any
Fire
4-drop that's just better in terms of it doesn't draw you back by activating all their forwards, unless you have some sort of like backup plan.
Actually, I take that back. I'd rather see a copy of any Persona body.
You just ask yourself, is it worth attempting to combo into it with other methods of getting around the fact that they have all these activated forwards? That's the end of it, really. I give it a solid 2, I think. Its protection isn't enough to like sell me on it, really.
I give it a 1, but I reserve the fact that in control.deck that thing's gonna be a 3/4.
I'm gonna give it a 3. I think it could find a home. I think a 9K for 4 with protection, I think that could be really, really good. I don't know.
This next card is one of my favorite fire cards in the set.
I'm split on it, but we'll talk about it. Rosso is a 3-drop forward, 5K body. When it receives damage, reduce the damage by half instead, and the numbers are rounded up to increments of 1,000.
It's backwards Warrior of Light.
Kind of, yeah.
Minwoo says, "I live all day."
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
This
have to
guy's
Bahamut.
unkillable in Fire Water if you have a minimum.
You have to have him at Bahamut in order
Yeah.
to kill him outright.
yeah, I guess. For some reason, I didn't think about that. But yeah,
The only problem I see with that is, yeah, okay, you can't kill him, but
it probably won't be able to kill anything else
yeah,
either.
he's a 5K.
Except, here's the thing. It says dealt damage. So if I swing at you 5K, in order for you to kill it, you have to block with a 10K. He literally does not die. He's an attacking Gordon.
But it doesn't. You need to pair this with Burn in order to get anywhere with it. Is what I think.
And hey, he's
So-
in fire, so
Yeah. So like, okay. So let's say, she swings in with 5K, and they block of course, because it's like, well, whatever, you know. And then you pair it up with your 2-drop of Freed or a Brynhilde or your
Any burn.
whatever, any burn, it'll be fine.
All it takes is a 4K burn to pretty much kill
anything
most.
from
Yeah,
that,
pretty
yeah.
much.
So
For a 3-drop,
I like the utility. I think it is unkillable with Minwoo on the board, and
I think it's actually really good for those like tempo things. Like you just play him early, and
he's a Yuffie and a Zidane.
like they're either going to block it and lose their guy to your burn. Like if you're running a lot of burn, I think like this guy could be really good. I like what we're finding out.
what we're unfolding about this
Yeah.
card. I would give it a solid 3. It's because it's situationally good. It's not always good. It's just, you know.
I'll give him a 3.5, almost a 4.
I'd give it a flat out 4 because I firmly stand by the fact of you're just like no fear swinging. with
Yeah,
this guy.
definitely. Yeah.
No fear blocking with
You're
this guy
putting
also.
you're putting fear into your opponent though, because they don't know if they block, they could lose their big dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm playing for Emperor deck.
Well, if you think about it that way, then why not just run 2-drop, first strike, red 13, even though it would die to more burn or more like clever blocking, if you still threaten that, you know, it has first strike and
But the thing is, like, even if you don't have the burn, and they choose to block, they won't kill it. You just tapped your guy.
The difference here between red 13 and this, I got it outright. There's going to be a lot of 4 Emperor decks. Literally, that's just going to be the name of the deck. Emperor, into the new Emperor. He does not let Emperor go to the grave.
Yeah.
He does not let Emperor do anything but sit there and go, where are my men?
I don't know. I think the 3-drop kind of bugs me about it. I can understand
You
the
want it to be a
3-drop.
2-drop?
That's the thing too. Is if it was a 2-drop, it'd be too good.
Can you imagine that?
Because then Golbez just says, thank you.
Yeah.
If it was a
Golbez
2-drop,
says, warrior light him.
if it was a 2-drop, it'd be too good. I don't like the fact
You
that I
can't
had to
get
pay
Warrior
3
Light
for it. I would pay. I would pay a 3-drop for it if it was 6K or even 7, maybe 6K at the most. 6K is probably the most fair
I
number.
don't know. I don't like it at that. I like it right at the 3, quite honestly, with the power it's got.
The thing is, if you go over 5K, if you go to 6K, that completely, there's nothing that can burn him out.
Yeah, the only thing that can kill him is like Preach.
Yeah, and that's too good.
And even
gosh.
then,
I don't know. I wish it was different somehow. I just don't like the idea of paying 3 for it. If I could pay 3 for Lon, or 3 for the unit that we'll be talking about down the way.
I honestly believe this holds the same point as Lon in my head.
Just because he's much more difficult to kill.
Yeah.
Lon can be burned out. He can, you can deal with a Lon. This guy, unless you're running like straight up break it, he's gonna be a problem. He's
true.
either sitting there blocking, or he's swinging in, and you're like, you have a good guy that you don't want to lose.
This is the equivalent of Phantom Warrior in Magic, in my opinion. Not Phantom Warrior is unblockable, but this guy, when he swings, you either have to put everything into killing him, or you're going to lose everything that comes across him.
I guess we'll have to see how it works. I would bother testing. I'd test running it to see how it works.
I just think you could fit in
It
stuff really easily.
It arguably has more utility than a few things. Like, it just depends on the situation entirely, I guess. So I don't know. I'm still. What did I say? 3 earlier? I still give it. I still give it a 3.
3.5. I said 4.
So we're done with the fire element,
Fire end.
and we can move on to ice. Finally.
Are you gonna do a new
I think he can cut him.
intro?
No,
Like, hey guys, we're back.
I can do that.
Intro with one of those.
Yeah, sure.